The daily chart for Bitcoin looks absolutely incredible. Since the beginning of September, we have gone up nearly 65%. And now the question on everybody's mind is, how much higher can Bitcoin go? When are we going to get a pullback? What is it going to look like when we get a pullback? Well, that is exactly what we're going to discuss in today's video. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Svenson, and today we're going to be talking about what we need to look for in terms of the next upside targets for Bitcoin. When is Bitcoin going to pull back? What is it going to look like if we're going to get a pullback? We're going to be discussing all of that today. First of all, I'm looking at the Cryptowatch asset card list, and we can see that Bitcoin is currently trading sideways. We're only up 0.35%, which has allowed some of the altcoins like Ethereum to move up almost 3% today. Looking at the 4-hour chart for Bitcoin, we did see the price run up to 16,500 yesterday, just below 16.5k. We did make a higher high on price, and we did have a lower high on the RSI. So we developed bearish divergence. We saw a pullback overnight, and as I was making this video, we actually came back just below 16k and saw a bounce, which means that we are, as of right now, holding within this parabolic trend that we've been in for the past many weeks. Now, going back to the daily chart, we can see that Bitcoin is in this parabolic trend. And we have to know that, at some point, it's very likely that Bitcoin will see some kind of rejection. When will we see that happen? Going to the weekly chart and going back in time here to the last major bull run, the only price action that we can actually analyze on this chart is the end of the bull run from 2017 going into 2018. And you mark up the weekly candle close and open and the wick high. You can see that that's the only real target that we have to analyze on the chart. And looking at the 4-hour chart, it seems like we're pushing through this area. We're finding support once again, and Bitcoin may have the momentum to actually get a breakout towards 17,200 for the next major move to the upside. Something like that is totally possible in this market environment. So through the upcoming weekend, we could see continuation to the upside. One thing I want to point out is the previous parabolic trends that Bitcoin forms. In the last major bull run, we saw this major large-scale parabolic trend get formed. And we also saw smaller parabolic trends form on the way up. And before we broke the all-time high, when the price would go parabolic, what would happen is we would go parabolic, break through the parabolic trend, and create a larger scale trend. Go parabolic, break through the trend, create a larger scale trend. And the same thing was happening on the way up, right? We would be going parabolic for weeks and weeks and weeks. We would break that trend to the downside and form an even larger scale parabolic trend as we moved up. And if you're looking at the 2019 bull run, the same thing happened here as well. The base of support was off of the bear market low, and then we rallied up. This time around, it's getting even more bullish because our base of support is right off of just around the $10,000 level. So now Bitcoin is building this current parabolic trend off of a major previous resistance. So we're making extremely good progress. But the point here is that I think it's very likely that Bitcoin will end up, maybe running towards 17,200, potentially as high as 18,000. On this run, and then create a larger scale parabolic trend. I think that very likely we're going to see some kind of resistance below 20,000, create a larger scale trend, and then build up to the 20k resistance and break out at a later date. In terms of probabilities, it makes much more sense to expect some kind of pullback on the way up. It's very unlikely that we're just going to break straight through 20k. So what could this look like? Well, I've mapped out something. We were actually streaming last night, and I was talking about this on my stream. I mentioned these targets in the beginning of the video, 17,200, maybe as high as 18,000, right? I think the price could very well run up to those levels during this run, but I think at some point we're going to lose steam. People are going to be less willing to buy Bitcoin as we're headed to the all-time high for the time being. And we're probably going to break this parabolic trend at some point in the not so distant future. This is what I think is most likely right now. Now, also, I want to make sure that you guys understand we are currently below the all-time high for Bitcoin, just like in 2016 right here, going into 2017 when we were below the all-time high. So instead of us, breaking down and going into some kind of a bear market, I think what's more likely is that when we break the parabolic trend, we're going to end up creating an even larger scale parabolic trend moving towards the 20k level. As of right now, there's no sign of this trend stopping. It's very likely that we would continue up to 17, 18k somewhere in that range, maybe even as high as 20,000. That's also possible. But my main point in this video is that you got to keep your eye on this parabolic trend, because once we break below this parabolic trend, very likely we're going to see a really fat rejection candle and a really healthy correction overall. And this could be the final buying opportunity before the next major bull run moving through the year 2021. So keep your eye on this upward sloping parabolic trend line. If we end up trading through it or breaking down through it at any point, get prepared for a potential pullback, get your cash ready to buy the next major dip. I have this marked up on the screen as 13.8k for the next major low. We may not actually go that low. We'll see what actually happens. I just have that marked up because we had major resistance here in 2019. And if something like this did play out, all this would do is strengthen the trend. This would be good. This would be constructive. More people would be able to accumulate at good areas of value as the trend is building. And if people are buying these dips and we're creating higher lows here in a larger scale trend, we would have much more pressure from the market to break that 20k level. Instead of us just going straight through 20k right now, we would probably end up rejecting back below it. If we were to create these higher lows, this would actually be pretty good market structure. So this is what I'm looking out for right now, a potential top forming over the next few weeks, next couple of weeks, and then some kind of correction pullback in the creation of a larger scale trend. Now, people are probably going to say Kevin is calling for 13.8k. Well, that's just a potential target. I'm not saying we're gonna go that low. Nobody knows what's actually gonna happen, guys. It's just an educated guess. But remember, this type of a correction is only gonna take place if we break the parabolic trend. If we don't break the parabolic trend and we just continue up, then we could be headed for 20k actually, right? So keep your eye on the parabolic trend line. And if you're looking at the screen right now, this is the Ethereum chart, and this is the trade that I put out for everybody in my Patreon, and it's going pretty well right now. Guys, one thing you'll notice is that I'm actually trading off of the Cryptowatch chart here. You can actually chart and trade using the Cryptowatch platform. It's free to sign up with Cryptowatch and it's free to use. Click those links below and sign up for Cryptowatch. If you guys enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, be sure to sign up with my Patreon if you want to support the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.